A Death Song by William Morris. What come fear from west to east a-winding, and who are we's, the marchers stern and slow? We bear the message of the rich ascending, back to woes who bade awaken now. Not one of thousand must they slay, but one and all if they would dusk the day. We ask them for a life of toilsome earning, their belated spite, their leisure for our bread. We crave to speak, to tell our woeful learning. We come back speechless, being back or dead. Not one of thousand must we slay, but one and all if they would dusk the day. They will not learn, they have no ears to hearken. They turn their faces from the eyes of fate. Their gilded heads shut out with skies that darken. But lo, we stand knocking at the gate. Not one of thousands must we slay, but one and all if they would dusk today. Here lies the sign which we shall break our prison. Amidst the storm here won a prisoner's rest. But in the cloudy dawn the sun horizon brings us our day of work to win the best. Not one of thousands must we slay, but one and all if it would dusk the day.
A Garden by the Sea by William Morris. I know a little garden close, set thick with lily and red rose, where I would wander if I might from dew morn to dew night, and have one with me wandering. And thought within it no birds sing, and thought no pillared houses were, and thought the apple boards are bare of fruit and blossoms, would to God her feet upon the green grass trod, and I beheld them as before. There comes a murmur from the shore, and in the close two fair streams are, drawn from the purple hills afar, drawn down unto the restless sea, dark hills whose heath bloom feeds no bee, dark shore no ships has ever seen, tormented by the billows green, whose murmur comes unceasingly unto the place for which I cry both day and night, for which I let slip all delight, whereby I grow both deaf and blind, careless to win, unskilled to find, and seek to lose what all men seek. Yet tottering as I am and weak, still have I left a little breath, to seek within the jaws of death, an entrance to that happy place, to seek the unforgotten face, once seen, once kissed, once reft from me, and knife the murmuring of the sea.
Drawing near the light by William Morris. Lo, when we wade the tangled wood, in haste and hurry to beware, naught seems its leaves and blossoms good, for all that way be fashioned fair. But looking up, at last we see the glimmer of the open light, from over the place where we would be, and grow the very brambles bright. So know, amidst our day of strife, with many a matter glad we play, when once we see the light of life gleam through the tangle of today.
Error and Loss by William Morris. Upon an eve I sat me down and wept, because the world to me seemed noisy and good. Still autumn was it, and the meadows slept. The misty hills dreamed, and the silent wood seemed listening to the sorrow of the mood. I knew not if the earth with me did grieve, or if it mocked my grief with bitter eye. When twixt my ears a maiden did I see, or drew and eyed me on relief through grass, and stood and gazed upon me pitifully with grief-worn eyes, until my woe did pass. From me to her a tearless now I was, and she mid tears was asking me of one she long had sought an aid and alone. I knew not of him, and she turned away into the dark wood, and my own great pain still held me where, till the dark had slain the day, and perished at the grew dawn's hand again. When from the wood a voice cried, "Ah, in vain I seek thee, O woe bitter sweet! In what lone land is set the launched for feet?" When I looked up, and lo, a man there came from midst the trees, and stood regarding me, until my tears were dried for very shame. When he cried out, "O mourner, where is she, whom I have sought o'er every land and sea? I loved and she loved me, and still we met no more in green hill, Mirth Hill." With that he passed on sadly, and I knew that we had met and missed in the dark night, blinded by blindness of a word untrue. But Heinz laugh and make wrong of right, will midst my pity for the lost delight. Yet more with barren longing I grew weak, yet more I mourned that I had none to seek.
From the Upland to the Sea by William Morris. Shall we wake one morn of spring, glad at heart of everything, yet pensive with the thought of eve? And the right house shall we leave, pass within flowers and the bays, through the garth and go our ways, wandering down among the meads, till our very joyous needs rest at last. Till we shall come to that sun-god's lonely home, lonely on the hillside grey, whence the sheep have gone away, lonely till the feast time is, when with prayer and praise of bliss thither comes the countryside, where a while shall we abide, sitting low down in the pork, by that image with a talk. My one white hand laid upon the black pillar that was one of a fair of Indian mine, and my hand nigh touched thine, but not touching, and the gown fair with spring flowers cast down of the bosom and the brow. Where the southwest wind shall blow through thin hair to reach my cheek, as thou sitst, nor mayst speak, nor mayst move the hand I kiss of very depth of bliss. Nay, nor turn thine eyes to me, when desire of a great sea, nay enow, but all unheard, is the hearts of us is stirred, and we rise, we train at last, and with the folds downcast, feel the feet, and we are gone, of a lonely sun-crowed one. When the meats fade at our back, and the spring day gins to lack, that fresh hope at once is had, but we train grow yet more glad, and apart no more may go, when the grassy slope and low dive in the shingly sand, when we wander hand in hand by the edges of the sea, and there were more for we, than if apart we were, with a space of desert drear, twixt the lips and mine, O love, ah my joy thereof.
In Prison by William Morris. Drearily, drearily, half a day long, fled the great banners high over the stone, strangled and eeled, sounds the wind's song, bending the banners' poles. While all alone, watching the loophole spark, lie I with life all dark, feet tethered, hands fettered fast to the stone, the grim walls squared laddered, with prisoned man's groan. Still strain the banner poles through wind's song, westward the banner roads over my wrong.
Meeting in Winter by William Morris. Winter in the world it is, round about the unhoped kiss, whose dream I long have sought over, round about the longing sore, with a touch of thee shall turn into joy too deep to burn. Round thine eyes and round the mouth, pass to murmur of a soul, when my lips a little while leave the quivering tender smile, as we train, hand holding hand, once again together stand. Sweet is that, as all is sweet, the white drift shall thou meet, kind and cold checked and mine own, wrapped about with deep furred gown and the broad-wheeled chariot. When the north shall spare us not, the wide-reaching waste of snow, wilder, lonelier, yet shall grow as the reading sun falls down. But the wardens of a town, when they flash the torched out, over the snow admit the dote, and their eyes at last behold the red-litten hair of gold. Shall they open, all in fear, cry, alas, what cometh there? Whence Heath comes this heavenly to tell of all the world undone? They shall open, and we shall see the long street litten scantly by the long stream of light before the guest hall's half-opened door, and our horses' bells shall cheese as we reach the place of peace. The oath shall tremble, and as last the worn threshold is overpast, and the firelight blindeth thee, trembling shalt thou cling to me as the sleepy merchants stare at the cold hands slim and fair, the soft eyes and happy lips worth all lading of the chips. Oh, my love, how sweet and sweet that first kissing of the feet, and the fire is sunk low, and the hall made empty now, grove solemn, diamond vast. Oh, my love, the night shall last longer than man tell thereof, laden with our lonely love.
Now Master by William Morris. Save man to man, we've heard and known, but we no master need, to live upon this earth our own, in fair and manly deed. The grief of slaves long passed away, for us I forget the chain, till now each worker's patient day builds up the house of pain. And we shall be too crouch and wail, ashamed, afraid of strife, unless our lives untimely fail, embrace the death and life. And I cry aloud and have no fear, if you against the world, arise, the hope we bear against the curse is hurled. It grows and grows, are we the same, the feeble band, the few? Or what are we with eyes aflame and hands to deal and do? This is the house that bears the word, no master high or low, a lightning flame, a shearing sword, a storm to overthrow. Pain and time strive not by William Morris. What part of a dread eternity are those strange minutes that I gain, mazed with the doubt of love and pain, when I thy delicate face may see, a little while before farewell? What share of a world's yearning tide, that flash, when new day bare and wide, blots out my half-dream's faint delight, and there's nothing by my side, and well remembered is farewell? What drop in the grey flood of tears, the time, when the long day toiled through, worn out, shows naught for me to do, and nothing worth my labour bears the longing of at last farewell? What pity from the heavens above, what heat from out eternity, what word from the swift world for me? Speak, heed and pity, our tender love, who knows the days before farewell.
Shameful Death by William Morris. There were 4 of us about that bed. The masked priest knelt at the side, I and his mother stood at the head. Over his feet lay the bride. We were quite sure that he was dead, but his eyes were open wide. He did not die in the night, he did not die in the day, but in the morning twilight his spirit passed away, when neither sun nor moon was bright, and the trees were merely grey. He was not slain with a sword, night's axe of a nightly spear, yet spoke he never a word after he came in here, and cut away the cord from the neck of my brother dear. He did not strike one blow, for the Grecans come behind, in the place where the hornbeams grow, a path right hard to find, for the hornbeam board swings so, and the twilight makes it blind. They lightened a great torch when his arms were pined fast. Sir John, the knight of a fen, Sir Jai, and the dolorous blast, with nigh 10, and brave Lord Huge at last. I'm 10, and my hair is all turned grey, but I met Sir John of a Fay, long ago on a summer day, and I'm glad to think of a moment when I took his life away. I am 10, and my strength is mostly past. But long ago I and my men, when the sky was overcast, and the smoke rode over reeds of a fen, slew Guy of a dolorous blast. And now, knights all of you, I pray you pray for Sir Hugh, a good knight and a true, and for Alice, his wife, pray too.
Summer Dawn by William Morris. Pray but one prayer for me, twixt thy closed lips. Think but one thought of me up in the stars. The summer night waneth, the morning light slips, fading grey, twixt the leaves of the aspen, betwixt the cloud bars, that are patiently waiting there for the dawn. Patient and colourless, for heaven's gold waits to float through them along with the sun. Far out in the meadows above the young corn, where the elms wait and restless and cold the uneasy wind rises, the roses are done. They pray the long gloom through the daylight new-born, round the lone house in the midst of the corn. Speak but one word to me of the corn, of the tender, bowed looks of the corn.
The Day of Days by William Morris. Each eve earth falleth down the dark, as though its hope were over. Yet lurks the sun when day is done, behind tomorrow's door. Grey grows the dawn while menfolk sleep, unseen spreads of light, till the thrush sings to the coloured things, and earth forgets the night. No otherwise wins on our hope, e'en as a tale that's told, ere fair lives lost, and all the cost of wise and true and bold. We've toiled and failed, we spake the word, none hearkened, dumb we lie. Our hope is dead, the seed we spread fell over the earth to die. What's this? For joy our hearts stand still, and life is loved and dear. The lost and found the cause have crowned, the day of days is here.
The End of May by William Morris. How the wind howls this morn about the end of May, and drives June on a pace to mock a world forlorn, and the world's joy passed away, and my unlocked forth face. The world's joy passed away, for no more May I deem, but any folk are glad to see the dawn of day sunder the tangled dream, wherein no grief they had. Ah, through the tangled dream, where others have no grief, ever it fast with me, that fierce and treason stream, and dumb sleep slays belief, whatsoe'er may be. Sleep slayeth all belief, until the hopeless light wakes at the birth of June, more lying tales to weave, more love on whose despite, more hope to perish soon. The Forest by William Morris. Pear tree, by woodman's edge I faint and fail, by craftsman's edge I tell the tale. Chestnut tree, high in the wood, high over the hall, I lift I rise when low I fall. Oak tree, unmoved I stand, what wind may blow, swift, swift before the wind I go. The Lion by William Morris. The beasts that be in wood and waste, nor sit and see, nor ride nor haste.
The Little Tower by William Morris. Up and away through the driving rain, let us ride to the little tower again. Up and away on the council board, to on the hauberk gird on the sword. The king is blind with gnashing his teeth, changed gilt scabbard to leather sheath. For the arms are wet with the slain rain, with his joy to ride to my love again. I laugh in his face when he bites me yield, who knows one field from the another field. For the grey rain drift all its trail, which way through the woods could clearly I pray. The left side yet, till your hand strikes on the bridge parapet. Yes, so the causeway all of good, under the water, hard as wood, right way to the uplands, speed, good night. 7 hours yet before the light. Shake the wet off on the Upland road, but heaven has grown a heavy load. What matter? Up and down hill after hill, dead grey night for 5 hours still. The hill road dropped lower again, lower down to the poplar plain. No longer farther for us tonight, the little tower drawn in sight.
where ringing the bells and the torches glare, where for the roofs of wet slate stare, where she stands, and her yellow hair slantly drifts the same way the rain goes by. Who will be faithful to us today, with little but hard-clave strokes for pay? The grim king fumes at the council board. 3 more days and win the sword. 3 more days my sword through his head, and above his white brows pale and dead. A paper crown on the top of the spire, and for her the stake and the witch's fire. Wherefore thought it be long a day, take axe and pick and spade, I pray. Break the dams down all over the plain, God send us 3 more days such rain. Block all the upland roads with trees, a little tower with no great ease. Is one, I round, bite and bring, my sheep and ox and everything. The spits I want to turn with, wine and with breed, where we may die. And plenty each day of seek good friends, ye know me no hard light. And it is right fair, see ye. Pray God to keep you frank and free. Life is pure, keep goodly cheer, or little tower will stand where here. Many years when we are dead, and over our green and red, bared with a lady's golden head, from mere old age when we are dead. The Wind by William Morris. Ah, no, it is nothing, surely nothing at all. Only a wild-going wind round by the garden wall. Oh, dawn just now is breaking, the wind beginning to fall. Wind, wind, woe art sad, art woe kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, woe art blind. At still wonders where lilies seek to find. So I will sit and think of days gone by, never move in my chair for fear the dogs should cry, making no noise at all while the flameless burns awry. For my chair is heavy and carved, and the sweeping green behind it is hung, and the drinks whereon grin out on the guests of the wind. On its food and orange lies, with a deep gash cut in the rind. Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, or art blind, still wanders my little set to find. If I move my chair, it will scream, and the orange will roll out afar. The faint yellow juice oozes out like blood from a wizard's jar, and dogs will howl for those who went last month to the war. Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, it still wanders where lilies seek to find. So I will sit and think of love that is over and past. Oh, so long ago, yes, I will be quiet at last. Whether I like it or not, a grim half slumber is cast. Of my worn old brains that touches the roots of my heart, and above my half-shut eyes the blue roof begins to part, and show the blue springing sky till I'm ready to start. From out a green-hung chair, but sometimes keeps me still, there thought in a dream I walked with her on the side of a hill. Got it, or was it not spring, with tufts of a daffodil? Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, yet still thou wonderst where lilies seek to find. And Margaret, as she walked, held a painted book in her hand. Her finger kept the place, and caught her, we both did stand face to face, on the top of the highest hill in the land. Wind, wind, thou art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, yet still thou wendest where lilies seek to find. I held her along by arms, but she shuddered away from me, where the flush went out of her face as her head fell back on a tree, and a spasm caught her mouth, fearful for me to see. And still I held to her arms till her shoulder touched my mail. Weeping she tottered forward, so glad that I should prevail, and her hair went over my robe like a gold flag over the sail. Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, yet still thou wonderst where lilies seek to find. I kissed her heart by a veer, and she kissed me on the brow, and then lay down on the grass, with a mark on the mossy snow, and spread her arms out wide, while I went down below. Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, yet still thou wonderst where lilies seek to find. And I walked for a space to and fro on the side of the hill, till I gathered and held in my arms great sheaf of the fold. And when I came again, my Margaret lay where still. I peered from high and high above her heavy breast, how we were caught and held in a loose, angered vest. But one bend of her arm died, happy so to be pressed. Wind, wind, who art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind, yet still thou wonderst where lilies seek to find.
Again I turned my back and went away for an hour. She said no word when I came again. So, flower by flower, I counted the holies over, and cast them longingly lower. Wind, wind, thou art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind. And still thou wonderest, verily seek to find. My dry hand shook and shook as the green ghost showed again, cleared from the yellow flowers, they grew hollow with pain, and unto us both where fell for the sun showed drops of rain. Wind, wind, thou art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind. And still thou wonderest, the lilies seek to find. Alas, alas, there was blood on the very quit breast. Blood lay in the many folds, the loose and gridded west. Blood lay upon her arm where the flower had been pressed. I shrieked and leaped from my chair, the old showed out afar. The faint yellow juice oozed out like blood from a wizard jar. And when I marched the ghosts of foes that had gone to the war, I knew them by their arms, where I was used to paint. Upon the long when shied by the colours were all grown faint, and faint upon the banners of Olaf, king and saint. Wind, wind, thou art sad, art thou kind. Wind, wind, unhappy, thou art blind. Yet still thou wonderest, where lilies seek to find.
2 Red Roses Across the Moon by William Morris. There was a lady lived in a hall, large of her eyes and slim and tall, and ever she sung from noon to noon, 2 red roses across the moon. There was a knight came riding by in early spring, and the roads were dry, and he heard the lady sing at the noon, 2 red roses across the moon. Yet none the more he stopped at all, but he rode a gallop past the hall, and left that lady singing at noon, 2 red roses across the moon. Because forsooth the battle was set, but the scarlet and blue had got to be met. He rode and whispered till the next warm noon, 2 red roses across the moon. But the battle was scattered from hill to hill, from the windmill to the watermill, and he said to himself as it neared the noon, 2 red roses across the moon. You scarce could see for the scarlet and blue a golden helm or golden shoe. So he cried as the fight grew thick at the noon, 2 red roses across the moon. Whirling when the gold bore through the huddled spears of the scarlet and blue, and they cried as they cut them down at the noon, 2 red roses across the moon. I trow he stopped when he rode again by the hall, fork dragging sore for the rain, and his lips were pinched to kiss at the noon, 2 red roses across the moon. And the maid she stopped to a crown, all was gold, there was nothing of brown, and the horns blew up in the hall at noon, 2 red roses across the moon.